What's up, everybody? And today we are checking out what I guess is the RAF's 6th generation fighter jet called the Tempest. I've got a couple videos here. It is... I just noticed my barrier was upside down. I wanted to move it. But I'll keep it right there. Excuse me. This is the next generation fighter. I've got two videos, one by the Forces News and one by On Demand News. I'll leave a link down below to the videos. Japan and Italy will work with the UK to design and build the RAF's 6th generation fighter. This is relatively new, and I know nothing about it, so we're going to learn all about it and see what the new fighter is going to be like. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're interested in these videos. It helps with that mysterious YouTube algorithm. Let's check this out. Two videos, like I said. I'm going to be pausing it. I'm going to be chatting about it. If you don't want to hear me waffling over the top of it, if you don't want to hear me pausing and talking, go to the links down below. You can watch the OG videos, okay?
Well, the headline big news in this announcement is the cooperation of the British, Italian and Japanese defence industries on the building of this new combat aircraft. First time ever that the European industry has cooperated with Japan on such a big and important program.
My question with this is, why are we not just doing whatever? Why are we not just buying it from like Lockheed Martin and Boeing and all? Because they're obviously building something for the US 6th generation. Is this just trying to keep it in-house? Because really and truthfully, like the F-35 is F-35B is unreal. Like, why would we not just do the same again and buy from them? It's very interesting. But then again, we also have like the, you know, the Eurofighter and all that lot. Very interesting.
I don't know very much about when the plane's going to be built, how much is going to be spent in it, what's it actually going to do, any of those technical details, specifics of the actual program. It's more this is more declaration of a high-level political intent rather than the practical details of actually building the plane. There's different ways of doing international defense cooperation. I mean, yes, you could have a lead nation, or you could, like in the Eurofighter Typhoon, have an equal partnership between the partner nations, and each country builds its own prototype in its own country by its own aerospace industry. I mean, that happened in the Typhoon program, the Italian.
Interesting. So they all built their own prototype and then moved on like that. That is very interesting. I know nothing about the Euro Typhoon. I feel like I should know more about it. But the truth is, I haven't learned much about that aircraft, and I definitely haven't learned much about the actual building process of it. I know very little about that side of it.
The Germans, the British, the Spanish, all built prototypes and cooperated that way. Whereas if we've got the F-35 with the Lightning aircraft, where the United States did all that type of work, or did it all in the United States rather than spreading it around the partner nations. But the different models, we're not quite sure how that's going to work yet. That's something to be hammered out in the subsequent negotiations about how the program is going to take place, the money, the industrial participation, and the orders, all that kind of boring technical detail.
So let me just put this in perspective. I'll watch the rest of this video. This was a year old, and the second video we're going to watch is only a month old, so there might be a bit of an update. But I wanted to watch both videos so we can try and get as much information as possible, okay?
There is the Tempest aircraft that the United Kingdom is building at the moment at Warton in Lancashire. That's supposed to fly within 5 years. That's supposed to be the proof of concept. That they don't like to call it a prototype, but it is sort of the first iteration of the Tempest aircraft, which potentially will be the design that will become this global combat aircraft.
That's very interesting. It's a very sleek, very modern looking F-35 style, you know, a bit more bubbles to it, more than straighter edges. But it is that kind of like 6th generation style that you would expect, isn't it? That weird kind of sci-fi look. Whether this here is legitimately what it's going to look like is another question, though. Again, it sounds like this guy is saying that there's very little we actually know about it right now.
I mean, that's supposed to fly within 5 years at Warton in Lancashire. So, I mean, yes, it is perhaps moving faster than we really think. So, I mean, it's a question of how willing the Japanese and the Italians will be to bolt themselves onto that Tempest program. Bringing in the Japanese is a new dimension. The Japanese up to now have cooperated in their fighter programs with the United States. So how that...
It's very interesting considering the change in stance since World War II. Obviously, Japan was very much not on the side of the West during World War II. And now all of a sudden we're doing cooperations on military equipment. Crazy the flip around on that, isn't it?
Dynamic will be played out, how the United States is going to react to having a competitor being built by its closest allies. That's an interesting dynamic, which...
Well, the thing is, we say competitor, right? We're allies, so it's like, rather than say this as a competitive way, this should just be helping everyone, right? Boeing will be looking at this and being like, what are they doing? These guys will be looking at Boeing, right? And Lockheed Martin and being like, what are they doing? And as a group of allies, it's only going to bolster us even more. I wouldn't say that it's competitiveness in a negative way. Do you know what I mean?
Will play out in the next couple of years. So it's not just how our opponents will react, how our allies react. Will they want to join or will they want to sabotage it? That's an interesting thing to watch, I think.
Or neither. Maybe they'd just be happy to watch and be like, what are you doing? Can we somehow, give you some of our information and you give us some of your information? Or even if they just sit back and be like, I wonder what they're going to do. Oh, that's kind of cool. There's no sabotage. There's not going to sabotage it. Well, maybe they would actually. If it's a private company like Lockheed Martin and stuff, you never know what they're up to, do you? All right, so this is a month ago. The UK's new 6th generation Tempest fighter jet project. It's a bit shorter a video, but it might have some more information. I wanted to get that extra information. This is the same design as what we just saw, so I'm wondering if this is the design and if it's nailed down. This is an exclusive look at the UK's next generation fighter jet at BAE Systems. So this is what it'll look like. Looks like I'm going to have to read this out for everyone. Okay. The Tempest jet project is a joint collaboration between the UK, Italy, and Japan. We already got that. The 6th generation fighter jet will incorporate AI, which adapts and learns from the pilot. I'm just going to skip through and get the reading from it. This will potentially allow the planes to fly itself in the case of a pilot blackout. That's a really good idea. BAE says the jet will have to be ready to incorporate future technologies that haven't even been invented yet. That makes sense as well. Okay, we've got a bit of dialogue at the end here.
In 2030. We need to field something into service in 2035, but actually this aircraft will be in service for 50 years.
Right.
And therefore it still needs to be able to keep up with the technologies that haven't even been invented yet. If you just think of what's happened in the past 50 years compared to what's going to happen in the next.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we've gone over this plenty of times, right? Adaptability is incredibly important in the military, whether that's personnel or equipment. Having equipment that can adapt to all different situations is vastly superior than anything else. That includes, anything in the Navy, anything in the Marines or the Army, anything in the RAF, right? Anything at all. Weapons, helmets, right? Like anything. If it can be modified and adapted for future purposes, it's always going to be prioritized over something that's not going to be adapted. Simple as that. The Tempest jet is set to slowly replace the UK's current fleet of Eurofighter Typhoon jets from 2035 onwards. Interesting. 2035 is a long time. Oh, that's it. 2035 is a long time. I didn't know that this new fighter jet was being made until I saw it in the comment section. So if you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because I learn a lot from you in the comments. I think it's incredibly important. What do you think of the Tempest? Is this something you are positive about? Are you a little bit more, standoffish about this? Are you a little bit more hesitant with this? I think it's always incredibly easy to be wary of new technology. Always, right? You get new technology all the time, and especially as a former Royal Marine, if we got something that had a high amount of technology in it, I was always very wary, because if something goes wrong, it's a dead weight, right? Obviously, with aircraft, that's completely different because we've had technology in aircraft for years now, right? And the technology is only going to grow. But I think that wariness of advancement still is there with some people. When it comes to aircraft, my thing is the more advanced, the better. When it comes to weapons and you know, gear for boots on the ground, I'm a little bit more hesitant to it because if something does break, then it is just a lead weight in it. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you want to watch these videos without me waffling over the top of them. You can certainly do that by looking in the description. The link will be right there. Other than that, that's it. I love you all. Got a great video coming out tonight. Check it out. Love you all. Goodbye.